makes his move. Drives again, back to Davis. Davis for three. Bang! Anthony Davis from downtown. And the Lakers take a 9-point lead. Timeout Miami.
And the Lakers improved to 55-0 when leading after 3 quarters. Chuck's favorite stat: no team in NBA history has ever finished the regular season and postseason undefeated, having a lead after 3 quarters. I'm your host, Chris Miles of NBA Game Time Live at the Finals, presented by YouTube TV. You know our front court: Charles Barkley, Kevin McHale, and Chris Webber. So, Chuck, let's start with you. The Lakers able to pull this one out down the stretch. Anthony Davis with 4 blocks, 22 points, 9 rebounds, and defending Jimmy Butler. How impressive was AD?
Well, listen, Black Ernie Johnson, I just want to tell you, you've done a fantastic job the last couple nights. I've enjoyed working with you. Listen,
thanks, Chuck.
This to me, the guy who, and he started in the first quarters, was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He got off to a really good start. Neither AD, to me, had like 2 or 3 blocks. He blocked Hero's layup. Then he blocks Olenek layup in the first half. You know, people like see. Chris, one thing that people never think about, and Kevin and Chris know this, there's plays that happen in the first quarter and the first half that if something happened in the second half, people never talk about it. But Hero was going to the basket against AD one-on-one, and AD intimidated him. And then Olenek had a layup. Those were the really big plays. But I thought that, hey, listen, AD was great. LeBron was really good and great. But I thought Caldwell-Pope, Danny Green, those guys chipped in just enough. Listen, let's be honest here. We knew the Lakers were going to win this series. Everybody who had any common sense about basketball knew it. Unless Jimmy Butler went crazy again, and he didn't go crazy again, and that's the only reason. So now we got to work one more day Friday, and then the Lakers going to win another championship.
You know, Chuck, you pointed out KCP. Here's another crazy stat about him. The Lakers 12-1 this postseason when he scores 10 or more. He had 10 in the first quarter, just 3-3 when he doesn't get 10 or more. So, Chris, when you hear that stat and you think about whether you want to call it, as Chuck says, just another guy, or the others like Shaq, these role players when you get to this point of the postseason?
Well, I agree with Chuck. I mean, Caldwell-Pope was the key to this game, in my opinion. He kept them in early, which means LeBron didn't try to have to force it early. He hit threes, and that late layup at the end of the game, I think that's the one right there when he gets inside and he lays it up. You need veterans like that to make plays. Yeah, Rondo came and did his thing. Caruso did his thing, but it was Caldwell-Pope, to me, that did his thing, and then AD defensively, because you really think about it, no one on the Lakers team could check Butler. I mean, he big boyed Dwight Howard early in the game, got a layup. Big boyed Morris and got a layup early. And so AD on the defensive end, even just going under the screens and trying to force Butler to shoot it, I thought was a great adjustment as well.
I mean, that's a great point, C. Webb, because Jimmy Butler 5 for 5 in the first quarter. AD takes on that assignment, and then Jimmy was 0 for 3 in the next 2 quarters with just 4 points. So, Kevin, just thinking about that as a big trying to get out on the perimeter and guard someone like Jimmy Butler, who's coming off of a 40-point game, I mean, that was just incredible by Anthony Davis.
Yeah, AD did a great job. He did what big guys should do. When you got spaced out on a guard, especially because Jimmy doesn't want to shoot the three, he's going to shoot it off the dribble. You got to get him to get the ball on the floor. After he gets the ball on the floor, you can use your length to go up and contest because he's got to gather the ball and shoot. And AD does a great job of staying in front of people, moving his feet, and his length really comes into play late when he gets that hand up. So he did a great job on Jimmy Butler. But one thing I'll tell you, I thought Miami played hard. They played really good defense. LeBron got to go in there for a while, downhill, making plays, made a couple big threes. But when you watch Miami play, they don't have a guy you can give it to, say, here, this is the ball, you're at your spot, and now go get us a hoop. And the defense knows that's his spot. They have to double team him there. They don't have that. They have so much movement. You know, they sometimes have to have 5 and 6 different actions to get a decent shot in one possession. And I think all good championship teams have that guy that you can give the ball to at his spot on the floor, whether it was Michael Jordan in the elbow or the mid post, or Kareem on the right box, or Chuck back on the Chuck like on the left box, so you pass out of there. Everybody had players they could go to. Miami doesn't have that. They've got to generate offense with so much motion, so many things going on in their offense. It's hard to generate good shots against really good playoff defense, especially after they played you 3 or 4 games in a row. They catch a rhythm on your offense. So I thought Miami played really hard. They just don't have that guy. And it's normally Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler can't do that against AD.
Well, clearly Anthony Davis had a really good game.
Chris, I want to say something to you, because Kevin made a great point. And I've said this the last couple of years. I think the one thing that's really hurting the NBA, we got these guys who are great, not even good. I mean, great three-point shooters. But they don't, for some reason, along the way, they forgot how to dribble the basketball. And that makes those guys really easy to guard. Like, I'm trying to figure out what happened. Like, yo, man, if you just, first of all, especially if we don't leave you. Like a guy like Duncan Robinson, who's arguably in the top 5 shooters in the NBA, I don't even know if he can dribble. Same thing with a guy like Kyle Korver, who's one of the best shooters I've ever seen. We can throw Steve Kerr in there. We can throw Dale Curry in there, because he's going back to my generation. But I wish a lot of these young players who are great shooters learn to dribble the damn basketball. Because you take yourself and make yourself a half of a player or even a quarter of a player. Like, we just got to stand close to you. You're not good enough to beat us off the dribble. I challenge guys like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero,